All right, let's look at this grammar here. What's really important is to know what an auxiliary verb is in English. And it's a weird word. It just means like an assistant verb, or sometimes they say a helping verb. And there are four types. There are four types. There's be, any form of be. You know, I am, he is, she is, we were, present or past. And then there's do. And with do, there's the present do and does, and the past did. And the negatives, don't, doesn't, didn't. Be and do. The third is have and has. Okay, but be careful, you guys. It's not meaning to possess. It's only when it's connected or right before a past participle, like have eaten or has seen. That's when it's a helping verb. That's when it's an auxiliary verb. Okay, if it's by itself, if it's not followed by a past participle, it's not an auxiliary, it's a main verb. Modals are always auxiliaries. They're never the main verb. Can, should, will, must. Okay, this is a big picture. You know, you study be in level 1A, and then do and does in 1B, and then did and 2, and have and has past participle in 3. But now we're looking at them all together. It's going to take some time to start separating them and identifying their patterns. Okay, so we have these auxiliaries. We have these four types, these four families or groups. And how are they used? Well, the first way is for questions. You know that. You know that in English is different than many languages. You have to start a question with this little flag, this little special word that indicates the time. Do you have? Did you go? And those little words help show the time, and they show it's making a question as well. Okay. Time you eat breakfast this morning. All right, well, what time are we talking? We're talking past there. So we'd have to use the word did. You sleep well last night. Sleep is the main verb. That's the action. What's the helping? Did. It has to be did because it's last night. And this is simple, not progressive. Okay. You've heard about simple present. You've heard about present continuous. Now you have to start thinking, English sometimes is simple and sometimes is progressive, but it's much more common to be simple. Don't think of it as simple, easy. Think of it as the most common verb form in English. Did you work yesterday? Again, we use auxiliaries for questions. Yes, I worked yesterday. All right, let's go through a bunch of them. Notice they're at the very beginning when you make a question. Do you drive? Does she go to school? Is she married? Is she sleeping? Are you talking to mom? Were you fighting with your wife? Here's the do. Here's the be. When we go back up here, right, we said we have be and do. Now, I have a little asterisk here because the verb be is a little different. Here, is she sleeping? The main verb is sleeping, and is the auxiliary. And here, is actually the main verb. Okay, so it's tough. So it can be, how can it be two things? Well, sometimes it is. But the good thing is with the verb be, it doesn't matter. For this grammar, we'll see later. It doesn't matter if it's the main verb or not. If you see be at the beginning, you'll use be at the end. All right, here's have, but it's have plus past participle only. Have you spoken to your sister? Spoken is the action. Have is the question for the time. Has he ever gone to Guatemala? Gone is the main verb. Present perfect, past perfect. These are the ones that use have as the auxiliary and not the main verb. All right, last one are the modals. Can he cook? Will they come over for dinner? Should students watch TV in English? Again, questions start with auxiliaries in English. 4 types of auxiliaries. All the forms of be, all the forms of do, Have and has plus past participle forms of have and the modals. Okay, so that's one use for questions. We must start our question with an auxiliary in English. We say, do you drive to work? We don't say, normally, you drive to work. Okay, that is possible in English, very relaxed conversation, but if you're relying on that most of the time to make questions, it's not going to sound like correct English. You make a question, you have to start with the auxiliary. Okay, number 2, we use auxiliaries in short answers. English has this great thing, these short answers, where they represent the complete idea. It's kind of like, instead of saying Maria every time, we can use she, like the pronouns, where we use these little words, she, he, it, to represent a person. So let's look at these questions. Did you eat breakfast? Imagine if in English you always had to say, yes, I ate breakfast, or no, I didn't eat breakfast. It'd be tiresome. We have a more efficient way. But you have to use did here because the question was indicating the time. When I say, yes, I did now represents this complete idea, eat breakfast. You don't need to repeat the verb or the object. Same thing if it is negative, I didn't. These could represent any action and object connected, any idea in the past. Would you eat breakfast? Yes, I would. No, I wouldn't. Again, representing the whole idea. Do you eat breakfast? Yes, I do. No, I don't. These auxiliaries here are answers, short answers, repeating, representing that idea before. Have you eaten breakfast? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Are you eating breakfast? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. All right. We use the auxiliaries in questions in English, and we use them, number 2, in the short answers. In the short answers. In all of your classes, your teachers have drilled for you. Do you this? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Are you that? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Okay, and you see, okay, that's a certain pattern in English. Now you're seeing. This is for questions. This is for short answers. All right. We went over, again, the auxiliaries showing the negatives, did and didn't. In the past, simple past, there are only 2. Do and does can also be don't and doesn't. And the verb be has 10 altogether. Am, is, are, am not, I'm not, isn't, aren't, was, were, wasn't, weren't. It's a lot of forms. And none of them have a letter B and E in them. The only time you see B is in the base form. The perfect tenses have or has, past participle, or the negatives, haven't, hasn't, plus past participle. Biggest challenges is to see the difference between have as a main verb, like I have kids or she has red hair, and have as an auxiliary before another action. What has she done? She has eaten. She has driven her car. All right, so now we use it for questions, start a question. We use it for short answers to say yes or no to that complete idea. And the third thing we use them for is to repeat the complete idea, not if anybody made a question at all, to say the same or not for a complete verb and object. First person says, I love this restaurant. Me too. That's what we're studying right now, that idea of saying yes for me, yes, second to that same idea, me too. Me too is fine. You can use it. It's better for casual, close friends. Kids use it. You can use it with people you're very close to. The negative, I'm not going to the party. Me neither. Me neither. Again, perfectly fine English for a second negative. Someone says no to something, you say no to. Me neither. It's okay. But me too and me neither are fine, but they're not as strong or complete or formal English that you need to know. So here, Soma says, I slept really well last night. If the same is true for you, you would say, I did too. Ah, here's the third use of the auxiliary. It's not a question. It's not an answer. It's a repetition and an agreement of this first idea. Well, how did you decide to use did? Guys, this is where you got to pull back and you have to identify the time and the perspective of the verb. You need to know in some way. First thing you see is slept is past. And you have to think past, how do I make a question in the past? Did you go? Did you go? How do you make an answer? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. It's the same auxiliary you use for agreements. I did too. Katya says, I didn't eat dinner last night. You can say, me neither. Perfectly fine. Or a little bit stronger, more complete is, I didn't either. Now, why is this either? Well, because English has a one negative rule. And didn't is did not. So that's already one negative. So you can't have the neither, which is also a negative. So the neutral one, the one that is neutral, is either. Okay? Not I didn't neither. That's double negative English, one negative. Now, look at Katya's sentence again. I didn't eat dinner last night. Now, the great thing is that in the negatives in English, in the negatives, I'll put this down. In the negatives, you will always see an auxiliary. You will always see one. Let's just quickly go. I'm not watching TV. There it is. You see it right there. Am not. She doesn't cook meat. It's negative. Doesn't. You see it, an auxiliary. He hasn't worked in months. You're always going to see a form of not. That's the thing, and students have a hard time with this. And they say, oh, I know work today, I know work yesterday, but not in English. The way to say no in English is to say not, but not changes depending on the time, right? It can be is not or isn't for right now for her, right? It can be didn't, which is did not for the past, the simple past. So when you're learning it, it is hard. You want to say yesterday, I know came to school, or I know come to school. And you have to learn, I need a special auxiliary to say no in the past, a special auxiliary to indicate the time for no in the present. But for our purposes right now, it's great because when you see it, didn't, it reminds you, I'm going to use didn't again. Or if I disagree, I'll use did. Okay, you will see it. Where in the positive, you're only going to see a one-word verb, which means if you see one-word verb, you must know it's simple present or simple past. Okay, let's take a look at some examples. Again, we use auxiliaries for questions. Did you come to the US? And for answers. Yes, I did. Okay, I did too for agreements. Did you speak English yesterday? Yes, I did. Oh, you agree with that? I did too. I talked to Trump yesterday. I did too. I didn't eat last month. I didn't either. I danced with J-Lo last weekend. I did too. If it's positive and you agree, you use too. If it's negative and you agree, you use either. I didn't talk to anyone yesterday. I didn't either. Okay. So today in class, we reviewed that we use auxiliaries in questions. The different forms of the auxiliaries can be do or be. But what starts getting hard is when you see a sentence like Maria smokes. There is no auxiliary there. It's only the main verb. So you have to look at smokes. You say, oh, there's an S there. That's simple present. Well, what are the auxiliaries in the simple present? Simple is always some form of do. Simple present is do or does. So Maria smokes and Lucy does too. Okay? You have to be able to identify that simple present, use do or does. All right, we did a dictation, and in each one there are some examples. Anna is cute, and her sister is too. Why? Here's the rule. If you see be in the first part, you're going to use be in the second. But it's not always the exact same form of be. Just because I use is here doesn't mean I always use is here, right? But we do keep it in the tense. So here, Dulanji is listening to me. So here you see the verb be. If you see be at the front, the first part, you'll use be in the second part. And Katya and Annabelle are too. That's be. It just changed to the plural. If you see be in the past, Berlin was studying last weekend. You see be, use be. If you see be in the past, use be in the past. And we were too. Okay, the second example continues that. Now, number 3, we ate too much. Hopefully, you see that's past. And what is the auxiliary in the past? Simple past is did or didn't. Okay, it's going to take some time to identify this. There is no we did ate. If it's positive, there is no auxiliary. We change the verb from eat to ate. Okay, it's very important. Why? Because you guys, we use the simple past and the simple present. We use them the majority of the time. They're the most common. Don't think of it simple as easy. Think of it simple as common. And if you see a sentence where it says, I work, and you say, where's the auxiliary? Is it is? Is it does? Well, is, you would see is. You see, I am working. If it was have, you say, I have worked. It's only in the simples. You just see a one-word verb. Then you know it's do or does. Example number 4, Jenny plays guitar. You see, the verb is one word. It's present, so do or does. And her sister does too. Bill was feeling excited. Hey, what did I tell you about the verb be? You see the verb be doesn't matter. You're going to use be again. Past to past. Bill was feeling excited, but, this is different. But means contrast. The first one's positive. The second one will then be negative, or vice versa, negative to positive. Bill was feeling excited, but they weren't. She needed money. How many words? How many words in the verb? Just one. So you know it's simple. So now, is it present or past? It's past. So you know it's did. Think about the question. How would you make a question in the past? You'd say, did she need? Did she need money? Okay, number 7 is an example of the present perfect, where we use have or has and then a past participle. Notice, eaten is the main action. Has is the helper. Petra has eaten chocolate and her sister has too. If you see have here or has, and only if you see a past participle, eaten, gone, drunk, been, begun, that's only when you'll use have or has or haven't or hasn't in the second part. Okay, you really have to pay attention. Is this the present perfect? Okay, is this have or has plus a past participle? Then you can repeat the verb have. And the modals are the easiest one, guys, because whatever modal it is in the first part, use the same modal here, but it could be positive or negative. It could change that way, but it will stay, otherwise it stays the same. Paul can ride his bike for miles, and his brother can too. Delanji should wear a mask outside, and Fatima should too. Should goes to should, or should goes to shouldn't. It doesn't really change, just positive or negative. So, in summary, if you see be, any form of the 10 forms, am, is, are, isn't, wasn't, were, use it again in the second part. If you see a one-word verb, she works, he cleaned, then you're going to use some form of do, either do or does, did, or the negatives. And if you see have, and only with a past participle, then you'll use have or has again. It's a lot. It takes time. You're going to get it bit by bit. Thank you for paying attention, and we'll get this.